Operation Oliver is a partnership, a community service initiative between the 6th Branch, which I direct, and that's an organization that uses the leadership and skills of military veterans to execute aggressive community service initiatives. The other two partners in Operation Oliver is Come Home Baltimore, which Earl is the director of. They build energy-efficient green homes right here in the neighborhood. And the other organization is the Veteran Artist Program. They take veterans and propel their creative works into the mainstream creative arts community. So if you see a mural like that, they did that. And then there's a whole bunch of other partners, Stevenson University being probably our biggest, our most frequent supporter, both the AKAs and other student groups. So since October, we've removed about 55 tons of garbage from this neighborhood. And we're going to continue that effort today. We've also planted upwards of 50 trees. We're installing some gardens this spring. We've put a resident into a job retraining program. We've moved a jarhead into the neighborhood here. He now lives on Bond Street. So a lot of things are happening, and a lot of things are changing. And we're getting to the point where it's starting to get difficult because when we first started working right where you're standing, it was a huge dump. So it was motivating for the volunteers to see they could take this trash and move it. And it was like a motivating thing. But now we're getting to that point where it's hard to sustain that momentum because it doesn't look as bad as it did. But we need to keep that energy up to maintain it and sustain it. We got something really special to talk about. Ryan, can you come up here for a second? You hold this for me, Ryan has been with us since October 1st. He lives on the other side of Philadelphia. And since October 1st, he's volunteered more than 100 hours in this neighborhood. Spent hundreds of dollars on tolls, hundreds of dollars on gas. He's driven 2 hours to get here because we were having a 10-minute meeting and then drove back. And what makes it more impressive than that is Ryan doesn't have a job. He lives in a neighborhood that's similar, maybe worse than the one we're in. And he keeps coming back and he keeps coming back. And he's been a huge part of why we've been successful. So a few weeks ago, the 6th Branch became a certifying organization for President Obama's Volunteer Service Award. And if you don't mind, I'd like to read a letter from the President. Ryan Stroop, congratulations on receiving the President's Volunteer Service Award, and thank you for helping to address the most pressing needs in your community and our country. In my inaugural address, I stated that we need a new era of responsibility, a recognition on the part of every American that we have duties to ourselves, our nation, and the world. These are duties that we do not grudgingly accept, but rather seize gladly, firm in the knowledge that there is nothing so satisfying to the spirit than giving our all to a difficult task. Your volunteer service demonstrates the kind of commitment to your community that moves America a step closer to its great promise. Our nation faces the most challenging economic crisis in a lifetime. We will only renew America if we all work together. Individuals, the private sector, and government must combine efforts to make real and lasting change so that each person has the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential. While government can open more opportunities for us to serve our communities, it is up to each of us to seize those opportunities. Thank you for your devotion to service and for doing all you can to shape a better tomorrow for our great nation. Signed, Barack Obama.
I didn't expect that.
And Dave's got something for you too.
I didn't expect that.
Thanks, man.
Just a little pin from the president.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Good job.
A couple of you are getting close to the criteria, which is 100 hours in a calendar year for the Bronze Award. He did that in 3 months. So I think Tuna, Etta, Nicole, and a couple other folks are getting close. So we're gonna start tallying that if you're interested.